Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We are at 10320 Southeast Quail Ridge Drive here in Happy Valley. I describe everything as if you are standing in the street facing the front of the house. We are just to the right of the front door. There's your front door. Here's our clean out. Now we're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. We're going to introduce some water to the line here in just a moment. Once we drop in, it's an actively lived-in home, so water goes down this thing all the time. We're just going to drop some water down the clean out here to simulate flow. Alright, we're going to advance the camera out here a little ways before we get the water moving. Just zeroed out there at the base of the clean out. It's a deep line, drops way down there. It's like a basement house. Now the plus side when you're up on a hillside like this is the natural slope and grade of the property often makes it dang near impossible to end up with a lot of issues that occur on flatter properties, like bellies in the line, for instance. Not that they can't happen, but it's a harder thing to accomplish. We do have some grease buildup in the line, but because of the steepness of the line, that grease buildup does not have the same effect that it would on a flatter running sewer line. This is almost just a sheer drop the whole way. So, and a little fun fact for you as it relates to steep running sewer lines. I've done almost 25,000 sewer scopes at this point in my career. And what's interesting is grease builds up in a very counterintuitive manner. I'll give you a little sewer fact here you didn't even know you wanted to know. Because grease becomes thicker and thicker and slower moving as it cools down, what ends up happening is on these steeper drops like this, the grease tends to build up more because the water that's carrying it, that's often hot and keeping it molded, starts to rapidly cool off and or starts running away from it very quickly. And so it often is leaving it behind. So the steeper the run is, the more grease buildup you get. But it also has a lot less effect on things because of that steeper run. So we've been in some standing water here for a moment. However, you can see I'm pushing a huge toilet paper ball through the line right now. And that right there could easily be the causation behind that standing water. At this point, we're probably starting to get out. Yep, there's the main there. Anyway, that right there is the reason why balled up toilet paper is not an ideal thing to go through a line. You can see how much it struggles to move. So for good cause, I'm going to pull back. That's the main there at about 76 feet. I'm going to dump a whole bunch more water down the line just to help clear that stuff out of the pipe here. We'll go locate, and then we'll pull back in here once the line's drained. Well, that big gush of water, unfortunately, didn't knock those all loose, but luckily I pushed them to the end of the sewer line with constant water flow. That stuff will start clearing out. And there's even more in it right now, even in this location here. And there's other balls of toilet paper. What's tricky about this is with the toilet paper in the line there, it's a little harder to gauge the exact depth of the line. Or I'm sorry, not the depth of the line, but the depth of the standing water. I'm going to try and push any more out of this thing that's in here. Anyway, you do have it looks like there is indeed a belly in the sewer line. With that giant hunk of toilet paper right there, there's enough. Let's see here. Yeah, the standing water, it ends just before the main, it looks like. You can see right here, the water finally drains off there. So I've cleared about as much toilet paper as I can. There's still another big, huge wad of it in there. Otherwise, a belly with this kind of gravity behind it is a belly I am rarely concerned about in any way, shape, matter, or form. This line has so much gravity working in its favor. Your belly here runs from around 65 feet. And even with the big chunk of toilet paper that's in it, and keep in mind that toilet paper is like that because a huge mass of it went down the line at one time. Toilet paper just doesn't accumulate in that manner on its own because it's something that disintegrates on its own. So big mass of it went down at one time. So I'm about 65 feet to 74 feet here. I think I may have got the rest of that pushed out of there. That water line is just barely over the top of my camera lens. Every time I pull back, and I'm not pulling back hard, the water line pulls down below my camera lens. So where I typically just start to consider repairs on bellies is once there is at least an inch of water for a minimum of 5 feet. However, that is generally speaking when we're talking very close proximity to the home. And we still have a little bit of water draining off back in here too. So, you know, I'll recommend some cleaning on the line. There is grease buildup throughout it. And that's mostly the only true buildup that's in the line here. Toilet paper does move on its way, you know, and if you're watching what's going down the pipe, you shouldn't be developing mass sums of debris. We are going back into another belly here. All right, this one dissipates out at 49 feet. Yeah, and the kind of bellies I was just talking about there, where I kind of start getting into the breaking point of recommending repairs, rarely do you have a just sheer cliffside of sewer pipe that everything's running down, which creates a lot of head pressure. So these are lines that are often under immense amounts of weight once they get to the base of the hillside and flatten out. It's about the only parts of the line where you can even theoretically get a belly. Alrighty, so I just for the sake of reference, where this starts at is right underneath the huge rock retaining wall at kind of the front right corner of the property. So I can barely locate it. I mean, just between the depth and the just sheer amount of rock I'm locating through. In my opinion, after doing 25,000 sewer scopes and seeing enough bellies like this with this kind of configuration, this is not a belly I'm going to recommend repairs on. I realize there are two bellies back to back, but the way you fix bellies, you've got to get the grade corrected end to end. That means you would be fixing from 39 feet to 74 feet. If you look at the sidewalls of the pipe and the top of the sewer line, almost no buildup to speak of. Okay, and that's a good indicator the line is not having recurring flow issues. So you couple that with the amount of head pressure you're talking here. If you could even theoretically develop a blockage, you have to fill up a humongous amount of sewer pipe going almost straight uphill. That kind of head pressure, there's not a lot of blockages that can withstand head pressure like that unless it is just a nasty one. I'm talking a blockage that would block the line up, belly or not. You know, humongous amounts of improper stuff, or you know, loading the line up with 50 balls of toilet paper. You have to kind of go out of your way. That's my 2 cents on it. Combined with the fact that, in my opinion, the cost to repair that outweighs the benefit, in my opinion, that you're going to gain from it. I am going to recommend cleaning on the line, but just understand that the buildup that we're looking at in the pipe here is almost exclusively grease buildup. We had some toilet paper down at the bottom there, but you could see how large those were. Those were filling up dang near the full diameter of a 4-inch line. So that is one thing you want to avoid. Toilet paper should not be balled, it should be folded. So all those things help to push debris through. But that's my 2 cents on it. It's just the repair here is too immense for the benefit gained from it, in my opinion. But I would like to see the line clean, get any grease buildup out of it. And if grease does not continue to go down the line, you're not feeding the line stuff that can build up easily. So, anyway, the bellies there from 39 to 49 feet and from about 65 to 74 feet, both of which are sitting right about the 1 inch mark. These are not bellies that are submerged with 3 to 4 inches of standing water all the way to the top of the pipe. So, if they were right up close to the home, I would feel differently about it. But being that they're all down at the base of that hard vertical dive like that, you've got a lot of things working your advantage here on a line like this. So, anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. We have adequate flow of the main. You will have improved flow after the line is jetted out. And I would recommend a rescope afterward just to show that that work was done. But all the pipe we just scoped there, all of it is intact. Nothing's broken. Plastic pipe can settle to significant extents far beyond this without breaking. That's one of the beauties of the stuff. And those smooth pipe walls really help to mitigate buildup. As long as you're not feeding the line wipes, paper towels, flushable wipes, tampons, those are all improper items, even the flushable wipes. The stuff that should be going down any line in general should be stuff that can readily disintegrate. Just, you know, folded toilet paper, you want to avoid the grease, stuff like that.